Hello and welcome back to the radio room. On the screen there, a lot of y'all might recognize that radio. It's a Yaesu FT-817, 817. This isn't an ND model. It's not an 818. It's one of the way back original 817s. And it's got a little problem. This is my personal radio. And I'm sitting here on my operating desk, I guess you could call it. And it's got a problem that's kind of annoying me for a while since I got this radio working again. There's a previous video where I diagnosed it and repaired it. It wouldn't even turn on before, so now it's time to get a little more functionality out of it. I use this mostly on 70 centimeters. It's obviously a HF through VHF UHF radio, but I use it mostly on 70 centimeters. Primarily have it in line for 70 centimeters for repeater work, but also some single sideband net that's on 70 centimeters around the area. And let me go ahead and show you what the problem is. So let me turn the radio on. And as you can see, we're actually pretty close to 432 right there. The problem is in the select switch. It goes down pretty good. Oh, and then it jumps back up. And goes down. And it's still fairly decent on doing this. Going up, it's usually never has a problem. And a lot of times it does work. Sometimes it kind of skips a little bit here and there. It's actually doing a pretty good job tonight. A lot of times it's quite frustrating. It'll get into a point and just kind of jump around. And you'll be turning and turning and turning and trying to go down. And now it's actually going to play right. So I must have scared it. It knows I'm going to try and fix it. But the other problem is, watch this work now. If you want to do 1 megahertz steps with this knob, normally you push it and you can do that. As you can see, it never does that. And I like to be able to push that, and if I want to go, because if I'm going to do this, say I want to get up on the VFO and I want to get up to 440 megahertz or something, I'm going to be turning this a while. Or say I'm up in 440 and I want to move down the single sideband, I'm going to be turning here a while. I'd rather have that capability to push the switch and go 1 megahertz at a time and jump up there real quick. So we're going to see if we can fix that, and if not, we're going to see if we can replace that knob. So that's the problem. It's actually tuning fairly decently right now. But no select switch. And also, if I want to go to my memories and I want to name these, which some of them are named because they've been in there for a while, but if you want to do the memory tag, normally you push this, then you can adjust and put an alphanumeric tag in there. Well, without that switch, now I can't name those, which I'm pretty good about remembering what frequency is what repeater or what frequency I'm on, but it would be nice to just have it listed. So let's see if we can get into this radio, see if we can see what's going on, and see if we can get this working right. So let me pause. I'll get the radio up onto the workbench. I did demonstrate it right here mostly because the power cable, I don't feel like stringing out of underneath the desk and everywhere else just to test it. And anybody who's running 817, unless you got like the power pole adapter or something on the back, it's a barrel plug, and I don't have any for the bench. I guess I could run the whole power cord, unhook it, but that's a little more difficult than I want to do. So I'm just showing you right here. We'll work on it over there and see if we can't get this thing going right. So give me just a moment. Okay, so we're over on the workbench now, and let's see if we can't get into this radio and work on it. Oh, we're going to need obviously some tools. Let's see here. Say we start with taking the cases off. If I remember correctly, it's been a little while since I worked on this radio. I think my plastic was coming apart, so I'll have to be careful with that. You know, I might be able to just super glue that back together. It got broke years and years ago. Some sort of moisture on the side of it. I'm going to have to check to see what that is. I wonder if that's just a contact cleaner or something when I was cleaning something. There are no batteries in this thing, so it should not be leaking. That was what happened the last time. I had accidentally left batteries in it. It got stored, and that really started eating things. I think that's a little portion of the damage right there from the battery acid. Always another screw hole here and there. Okay. Get the speaker unhooked. They don't give you a lot of room here, so yeah, I used pliers on those. They come loose pretty soon. I just don't like pulling on the wires. Let's see if this is going to put too much light on the subject. And these. Maybe I did glue that. Let's get the rest of the screws out, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have both cases, top and bottom of the case, off. So many screws for such a little radio. Some more of that battery acid. And one right here, it looks like. That's the one that actually got, I believe actually got, oh, I'm going to get this out of the way. That one right there actually got really stuck in there last time. I had to slot the screw to even get it out of there because of the battery acid. If I remember correctly, this is a be careful type deal here. If I remember correctly, yep, that is kind of engaged into the this spot right here. The little clip actually slides in there. So when you're pulling that out, you almost got to like almost take this out first. Very carefully, don't want to lose those springs. So I'm going to put these in a container so if they do fall off, we won't have a problem. Oh, and it's still maybe I can super glue that back together. Won't have as much of a problem. It stays pretty good once it's, you know, it's in the radio. But okay, so we're gonna have to get into the front panel here, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to take the front panel apart. So we'll remove some knobs. If I remember correctly, this you have to take the rubber off first. If I remember correctly, there's a set screw underneath here. Yep, right there. Just a little one. .5 millimeter. So don't go just trying to yank your VFO knob off, or main dial knob. Loosen the screw and it'll come right off of there. Okay. Looks like we can undo this guy, slide that ribbon cable out, and it looks like we might be better off. I know these tabs we have to pop loose very carefully. They'll get broke if you don't. Like this one's already broke. And a couple more on this side. To get the front panel, or front control head, off of the radio. Okay, and that does stay. I was wondering if we were going to have to try and unscrew that first, but there's the front panel of the radio. Right here is the knob that we're going to take a look at. And first off, I am going to check to just make sure our solder connections are still good on that switch, because maybe that's the problem. Which they do look fine. So let's seeing how we separate the front from the rest of it. Looks like it's just a screw there. It can't be all that's holding it on. Maybe this nut right here, this nut right here, and we can pull the faceplate off of this. If we, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have to replace that knob and switch. So it does look like probably this nut, that nut. This one doesn't look like it's got it. Maybe that screw. And, well, actually that one probably doesn't have to be undone. However, I think we're going to have to, because even though it's got wires right there, unhooking those wires might be a little more fun than it's... Well, let's see what happens. But this one definitely looks like it's going to have to come off. So let's see if I got something that's going to be that size and actually fit in the hole. It's a little bit of a that nut's recessed in there just a little bit. I don't think this one's big enough. That one's not big enough. This one's probably the right size, but doesn't fit down in the deal. So this shouldn't be extremely tight. Okay, so that's got that loose. I guess I could unplug it just to keep it from flopping around. Then we can hook it back up in a little bit when we're done. How about we just leave it on there, because that's trying to pull the whole board out. Because it appears that's about all that's holding that in there on that side. So it looks like probably this nut right here. I'm going to go ahead and move the rest of the radio out of the way here. Okay. And let's see here. Looks like there's still something holding. Let me get this undone. I don't think it's really holding much, but I'm going to get it done anyhow. This is where I really wish I had those special little deals to go in there. This poor radio's kind of seen a little bit better days. Maybe this will work. It's worked in the past on these type of nuts. You know, one of these days I'll probably just, those are sort of kind of a common size. Probably just need to make myself a wrench. You know, it's just a piece of deal. So I've used snap ring pliers before to do this, if I can get in there. Let's see if I got some smaller ones here. This could get fun. See if these will get in there. Also used a screwdriver. Oh, do I have anything that's gonna be small enough? Those are really tiny little slots in there. Oh, this might get fun. Might have to unplug it. Still feels like there's something trying to hold on to it. Maybe the switch is on top? It's got clips or something maybe? Maybe it's just clipped in there. There's something holding on to it. I think I'm working it out of there. Oh, well, I unplugged that, didn't I? It was just mostly this. Of course, it's got a little bit of corrosion on it, too. So let's see here. I just have to work on it like this with that wire like that. Do need to get in here and clean all of this up. Does that come out? Should. Whoops. Well, hope that switch still works after that. Kind of tore that free. So definitely be careful. It's an old radio. Let's switch that function. I think it'll still be okay. I'll definitely clean all this stuff up. But this is the switch we're going for. I think it probably just needs to be replaced. It's a sealed unit. So I think we'll just remove that. First off, I found what I believe is a good replacement for it. This I'll just have to clean out real carefully with one of them things are actually glued in there or something. No, they're not. I'll have to clean this up real carefully with, maybe some Windex and something. It's got a lot of sand and dirt and stuff on it. I mean, this radio has been used out in the field, so it's been around some dirt. But let me get that other switch or knob, control, encoder, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if it at least looks similar. I think the difference on this might be the fact of think this one's got a lot deeper travel, which I don't think is going to be a problem. See, this one's about a 0.5 millimeter. I think I got a 1.5 millimeter, and I'm hoping everything's going to match up okay. Even with that, so this one's got a lot deeper push, which I kind of wanted a little deeper push anyhow. There was another one that had, it's probably directly, okay, so let's compare our spacing here. So all the pins, besides maybe being, you know, spread out, all the pins look like they're all the same spacing. Depth is going to be pretty much the same. I think. I don't know. This one does have a longer collar down there, but I think it's just going to stick out from the radio a little bit further. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. This collar right here. So, you know, maybe if you have to replace one of these, get the one that's 0.5 millimeter, and I'll see if I can't put those in the comments. The parts numbers from DigiKey. Because if you look at this, with it sitting down on the board, you can see that this collar right here is longer than that one, but I don't think that's going to cause us a problem. So let me pause a minute. I got to get the soldering iron warmed up and get the desoldering gun warmed up. We'll come back and we'll see if we can't get this out of here. I'll try to unsolder the pins real carefully, just real quick. These two tabs here, I might try to suck as much of it off of there. I don't know if I got a tip that's big enough to go around them. I'll have to check. If not, I'll get as much on it, and maybe I can just clip them. We can get it out. I'm not worried about damaging the old one, but let me pause, get the stuff warming up. We'll see if we can get that switch out of there. Okay, we're back. Got some stuff. Got the soldering iron heated up, the desoldering gun heated up, and we'll see if we can get in here and get this switch out. I am going to get rid of this. I'm going to be coming in like this with the desoldering gun. I do not want to touch that and mess that up, so we'll just push the release, lift it out gently. We're going to remember that this side goes towards the display, the control head, whatever you want to call it. Alright, see if we can get this thing out of here. Okay, I do not think I can get over these. I might pause here a second. See if let me before we carry on here. Let me see if I actually have a tip that goes that big. I really don't think I do. Let's see what kind of tips I got. That might be a heat it up and walk it out type deal. Let's see here. I got a 0.8, a 2 millimeter, and a 1 millimeter. Don't know if that's going to make it big enough. I might be able to, let me see if I can just get rid of some of the solder. Well, it might still be soldered somewhat, but that worked out pretty good actually. You gotta be real careful. There's some surface mount components like right in that area. Okay, I don't know if I got enough to get it out of there, but we're gonna find out. So what I'm gonna try and do is kind of squeeze these together. They are not free. They're still kind of soldered in there. Checking the pins to see if they're all free. Kind of worried, kind of concerned this middle one on this side is not, but I'm also trying to keep from heating this board too much. I think that one's free as well. So I might be able to heat this up right here and walk this side out a little bit, then walk that side out with the soldering iron. I think I can walk it out. It does act like I still got a pin that's holding me up. I think it's this middle one over here. So let me try to suck that one off. Some more of that solder off of that pin. Okay, I think I might have got that this time. Okay. And it's out. See if we can get the new one in there. We only got to line 7 pins up at one time. Alright, got that down in there. Put just a little bit of flux on here, and then we'll solder it back, solder all the legs and stuff back in here. And we'll clean it up with some isopropyl alcohol. Make sure it's seated down on there good. Okay, let's clean this up with some alcohol real quick. Get that extra flux off of there. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video a little bit and just get some of the dirt and stuff out of this, out of the cover plate and stuff. Maybe wipe the... Now the funny thing is I don't remember touching the screen. I think somebody's actually been in here before. There's fingerprints on the screen. Well, maybe I did. Clean that up, get the dust out of here and stuff, and when we get back, we'll put this all back together, and then, well, we'll try it out. So give me just a few minutes. I'm going to clean this up. It might take me a few minutes. I don't know if you just want to sit here and watch me remove dust out of a faceplate. Okay, I think I got everything cleaned up. Now let's see if we can slide this all back together and get it all going again. So make sure my buttons are down where they're supposed to be. See if we can negotiate this back in here. I think the one hard spot might be the buttons that are along the top, that rubber membrane. It's pretty tight coming out, so it's just going to take a little bit of careful negotiation. Oops, and my buttons fell out. Well, and they fell out again. This might be a little harder than it I was thinking it would be. Looks like our new switch is trying to cause us a little bit of heartache. That's not where those belong. They go there. Let's try this again. One of those deals of need about 4 hands holding on to 6 different things to get this in here, I guess. Let's try it again. Alright. Well, the buttons seem to be in the right spots. Let's get a screw in here. Snug that down. Let's get our VFO. Wipe it off a little bit. Shaft off. Get it plugged back in real quick. I find it interesting that it doesn't really lock into place. It just kind of held there. See if we can get the nut started. Snug it down a little bit. Seems good. Carefully stuff these wires back down in where they were, hopefully. Just testing the function of all the buttons. They should kind of click. Alright, everybody seems pretty good here. Kind of touching up a little bit on the wipe down of it. A couple little crevices I kind of missed. Okay. So, we need to get this ribbon put back in here. Black dot was facing like this. Slide it back down in there. Make sure it's in there all the way. And lock the little lock. It looks good. Now let's get the body of the radio. Give this surface a little bit of a wipe down. Still finding more spots where that acid got things. A little etching of the aluminum. This ribbon cable through here gently. Like that. Now, I'm not forgetting anything, am I? I think we're good. I can put the knobs and stuff back on here in just a minute. Get these to slide over their little tabs. Over their lock pegs. Let's see if we can get this guy back in where it needs to go. Lift the lock up. It's locked in place. Alright, everybody's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and put some knobs and stuff back on. Give them a little wipe down as well. Might as well while we got them off and we can actually get into them. One thing about this radio, they packed a whole lot into a very tiny package. So everything's kind of small. Alright. Okay, so the knob does stick out quite a bit further than it did. But you know what? It's easier to get a hold of. I could actually, oops, if I really wanted to, I could trim that down. I'm not going to, but I could. Just make the shaft a little shorter and it would sit down in there, on there further. You know what? That's going to work. Get our main dial knob hooked up here. Tighten down. That's good. Starting to get some fuzz from this wet white pledge wipe that I'm using. Alright, now let's get the case put back on it. I'm going to start with the bottom. Mostly because it seems like this guy always difficult to do. So I think if I remember correctly, it's like I said, I think I can do this. Well, I don't remember exactly how I had to do this last time. Yep, that's right. Put the case on, then you can slide that in there and it'll stay. So we got our special little screw here that I had to, it got stripped out. It was corroded in there when I was diagnosing the radio last time, so I took a Dremel and made it a slotted screw. It's not perfect, but you know what? It works. Get it snug down. Okay, now I only got like, 10 different types of screws here, so hopefully I get the right ones in the right spots. Goes in. I'm going to go ahead and put the door on here. As soon as I find it, there it is. Back screw on here. I think it's one of these. Let me see what screws I got here. I think I have 4 of them for the handles. Okay, that's 4 for the handles. Let's see what I got here. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 regular ones. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if this one's really supposed to go in the back. Got put in the wrong place a long time ago. I bet this one really supposed to go right here. But we're going to put it on the bottom because we're going to have the ugly screw on the bottom. Probably something I just didn't notice when I put it. Maybe I had taken it apart, or somebody else had taken it apart a long time ago and had this screw in the wrong spot, actually. Okay. Now, well, the rest of these go in certain spots like this. Oh, actually I put the wrong screw right here. See, there's these regular, there's no bevel here. Those were on the back. That's what I was thinking. Because these almost kind of countersink themselves down into the body of the radio, or the cover of the radio. So this one actually was where it was supposed to be. And this guy, these ones, they got basically like a flat back side of the head there. Let's call it pan head, I don't know. Oh, you know what? That probably ain't gonna work, Gordon. Okay, I'm gonna get one here inside. These go towards the back of the radio. These front ones up here will be kind of like that one, because they also hold the bracket for the handle strap that you can put on this radio, which I think I have somewhere. Let's see these. Well, heck, there's another flat one. Oh, that's one of those ones. Anyhow, these, I don't know if you can tell that, are kind of beveled. So they'll kind of countersink themselves into the cover plate just a little bit. Center themselves, I guess. And now let's put the top on. Yeah, as soon as I find it. Right there in front of you. Okay, so we gotta hook the speaker up. Which goes right there. And it just plugs in. Like that. Top goes in on top. Actually, looks like I'm missing a screw here. This is one that goes on the back right here. Oh man, look at that. I think we're missing something. Well, I guess I'm just going to get practice taking these covers off, huh? I don't think I can just sneak this in here. Oh, we're missing a spring. Alright. You might notice this video's slightly different than the ones I've done lately. In fact, might be closer to the way I used to do them quite some time ago. I'd kind of gotten into the practice, I guess you could say, of trying to make my videos shorter and shorter. Seems like a lot of people, oh, they're just too long. Had some comments like that. And I know sometimes it's frustrating. And this is kind of coming off of a comment that was on another one video that the guy was getting a little frustrated, and I can see his point that you know, he's trying to look for an answer in how to do something, and he just needed one little bit of information. And I know a lot of people go to YouTube just to get that little bit of information that they need, and I was taking forever to get there, and that wasn't even really one of my long videos, I don't think. And he did make a comment back. You know, I was like, you know, I kind of apologized for how long the video was. And he came back and he said, you know, sometimes, you know, don't apologize for the length of the video, because a lot of people out there might be looking for information, but everybody's looking for a different level of information. And I by no means saying that I'm an expert at anything, by any means. But sometimes that answer that somebody's looking for is not necessarily just one tiny tidbit of information. Maybe they need the whole process, and they need to learn from it, or they want to learn from it. They want to learn how to do something. And if I just get right to the point, skip everything, maybe there's that one little bit of information they needed. And in the interest of trying to make the video shorter, that's the part I clipped out. So I'm trying to make these a little bit more start to finish. And I obviously can't do that on everything. Some of this stuff does take a little bit of time, and it's very tedious and it's very slow. And sometimes it's better to just show you the after rather than every tiny little minuscule step that I took on doing something. Like I said, I'm not going to prescribe to even say I'm an expert at most of any of this. I think I'm fairly good. I think I've got a knack for making things work. Most of the time figuring them out. But one of the things that I've always wanted to do, you know, even when I was young, was I wanted to know how to do this stuff. And believe it or not, I come from, you know, my childhood, YouTube did not exist. So if you wanted to learn something, unless you had the means to go to a school or something like that, you kind of had to figure it out. And every time you did something, you learned a little bit more. And that's basically how I've done all of this. Have I done everything perfect? No. Have I, gotten into something and was like, well, that was a little bit more. But, I can remember a lot of this stuff that I'm doing. I had no idea how to do it, and I was almost afraid to do it. I thought everything was just so delicate that there's no way I could get in there and do it until I just did it. And I had some failures. When I was really young and I decided I was going to get in there and try to work on a radio. First off, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I'll admit that. But sometimes, you just got to get in there. When you don't know what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying don't do this on somebody else's, necessarily their radio or a very expensive piece of equipment, especially if it ain't already dead. Sometimes, if something's so dead, you can get in there and the only place that you can go is up. With it. If something's dead to begin with, and it's pretty dead, the only improvement that you can do is improvement. You can't, if you break it, it's already broke. And that's sometimes a lot of ways, to get in there and start figuring out how to do some of this stuff. And of course, YouTube now. You can get in there, and I actually enjoy watching repair videos of electronics and stuff, restoration, stuff like that. I find it fascinating. Getting in there and seeing how things were made and how things were put together. Particularly if it was, from way back. And after you start doing it, you start getting a little better at it. And I think I'm a lot better than I used to be. It's like in the description for my channel. Learning and understanding electronics. And it's my journey. I think I'm better now than I was when I started my channel. Which has been a couple of years. But sometimes you just got to jump in there and do it. And learn from what your successes and your failures. And trust me, long before I had a YouTube channel, I killed a few radios. They were mine. They were dead. And the way I looked at it is it's already broke. But every once in a while, I go in there, and I'd have an aha moment on something. And it worked after I got done. And that felt good. And I learned things, as I was doing it. So, maybe people need to see a longer video. Maybe they need to see the little steps. Not just, hey, it's broke, and then, hey, it's fixed. Sometimes you need the in-between. Some of the little steps. So, I think I'm going to try to get back to that a little bit more. Y'all can let me know which way you want. And, to tell you the truth, I think I'm going to do them the way I want to do them. So many people get onto YouTube, and they think they just got to have all the views. I think they got to have the massive subscribers. Heck, they even go in to do things that, clickbaiting and everything else like that just to get viewers. When it comes down to it, I don't think I'm ever going to make a living getting paid by YouTube. So, I'm I'm not terribly concerned on my viewer count. I'm not 100%, just like obsessed with subscriber count. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. I think one video I've done, they'll give me a thumbs up, but don't forget to subscribe. But like I said, I'm not making a living off of YouTube. I doubt I'll ever make a living off of YouTube. This is just something that I like to do. There's people that I know that enjoy watching it. Maybe they learn something. Heck, sometimes I learn something every time I do this. But that's the fun of it, is going in there. I mean, if I knew every little thing about every little repair 100%, I'd probably be bored. But I like the challenge sometimes. So, back to this video. Let's get back to this. The FT-817. Got it back together. I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to get this set back up on the shelf. Get it plugged in and everything like that. We'll turn it on and see if it works better. Okay. Back onto the operations table, the radio desk, whatever you want to call it. Got the power hooked up, got the mic hooked up, got the speaker hooked up, and got the coax hooked up. So, two things we're going to figure out here. One, let's hope it turns on, it doesn't blow up. We didn't do anything wrong. And two, let's see if we fix the problem, or if it's gonna go wild on us. So power's on. We do change frequencies. I'm in memories right now. Let's go to VFO. Going down very consistently. This detent feels a lot better too. See if we can get megahertz. Oh, maybe I got more problems than what I thought. Well, we don't got that. So I didn't entirely fix the problem, did I? Well, I guess I got bigger problems than what I thought. Well, I think that's going to have, that might not be in a switch problem. But the biggest thing is that I can sit here and do this. And it goes up and it goes down. So I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. But yeah, I might save that for another day. Like I said, I've been using this radio like this. Let me tell you one thing. This thing is so small, you just about got to lock the dang thing to make sure that it's gonna work right. Yep, definitely gonna have to fix that. Something's going on with that. But that's okay. It might not have been the switch, but at least I can, you know, go through these things without maybe a software problem? Broken trace, bad capacitor, something's going on. Maybe that, and you know, it could have a lot to do with the fact that when it did get the battery problem, it ripped, you know, it took something else out in there. Well, at least I can change the frequency right, because I'm here to tell you, we were on a single sideband net the other day, and I was trying to tune around like this. You know, I could do it this way. Oops, I'll unlock that. Could do it this way, but I was trying to get there a little bit quicker, so I was trying to use this, and I kept trying to go down, and it would go down and then jump back up. Go down and jump back up. It was very frustrating. So the radio is usable. We might revisit it a little bit later in a different video and find out maybe what's going on with that. I'll have to look at the schematic and see kind of how things are working on this. But it's already kind of getting late, and I don't feel like taking the radio back apart right now. So it's operational. We'll see if we can, if I can get something going with it later. But at least I can tune down, and the thing goes down. So thanks for stopping by. Like I said, my videos might get a little bit longer because I want to do a little bit more coverage, I guess you could say, of what I'm actually doing, and just instead of here's the problem, here's how it looks after it's fixed. A little more step by step in the process of it. So just remember, if you're going to go through a video and it's taking too long, fast forward. It's on the screen. You can move around anywhere you want. Trust me, I am not concerned if you skip part of my video. Don't care. So, thanks for stopping by the radio room, and we'll catch you next time.